Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to Laura Navaquin, a powerhouse in both the corporate world as well as real estate investment. So imagine this. After nearly 2 decades in corporate life, Laura embarked on a new adventure in real estate alongside her amazing husband, Joseph. But her impact doesn't stop there. As the founder of Inspire Her Foundation, a lot of words there. It's like, but I love it because it's like just inspire. But Laura's mission is to empower youth through education, skilled workshops, and mentorship, igniting the flames of ambition in young hearts and minds. A captivating speaker, Laura's passion for building confidence and encouraging others to chase their dreams knows no bounds. Whether she is on stage or in a workshop, her message resonates deeply, urging individuals to fearlessly pursue their aspirations no matter their challenges they face. So join us as we delve into Laura's incredible journey, exploring how she's transforming lives and spreading the message of empowerment far and wide. This is the Possible Woman podcast, where every story is a testament to the limitless possibilities within us all. Welcome to the Possible Woman podcast, where we empower female entrepreneurs to make their dreams a reality. I'm your host, Sharon Ringier, and you're in the right place if you're ready to break free from the hustle, gain clarity, and find true success in both your business and life. Tired of feeling stuck and overwhelmed by endless advice? I've been there too. After years of trying to figure it out, I realized I needed to get crystal clear on my vision. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Without goals, you don't have direction, and without direction, you won't get to where you want to go. There's a strategy behind setting goals, and once they're set, you'll feel empowered to take action and make real progress. We'll have real conversations with inspiring women sharing strategies and success stories to help you gain clarity, confidence, and overcome self-doubt. So let's get started. It's time to unleash your inner possible woman and make those big dreams happen. So, Laura, welcome to Possible Woman Podcast. It's so wonderful to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and to speak with you again.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here too. So, we're just going to jump in because you were also one of the amazing women who was honored for her story Unveiled. So, can you share a little bit about your journey leading up to being chosen for that?
Yeah, so it's been about a month and a half after the Times Square billboard for HERstory Unveiled, and I still can't believe that I was elected to be a participant in HERstory Unveiled. It's, all still surreal. Nonetheless, backing up even a month prior to the billboard in Times Square in the magazine and all the meeting so many other great women along this journey, I when I was selected to participate, I really just sat down. So it had been about 7 months since I fully jumped in full time and immersed myself into our entrepreneurial journey here and the nonprofits. And although 7 months doesn't necessarily seem so long, and it really isn't, it really gave me the opportunity to slow down and think about everything that was achieved over the last 7 months. So from growing and expanding the audience for Inspire Her Foundation, expanding the real estate investment portfolio, expanding on relationships and networking, speaking opportunities, it was really just a significant amount of accomplishments over the past 7 months. And ultimately, just to add on that, not just accomplishments, really lessons learned. So, as I've shared with many other individuals that I speak to, it's not just about accomplishments. Those are always great to come along our way. But really, what leads to more accomplishments down the road are the lessons we learn along the way and us being open to those lessons as they come along. But really, just again, being chosen to participate in HERstory Unveiled really gave me the opportunity to sit down and take that all in and absorb it and be proud of it and really be motivated to continue moving forward on this journey of entrepreneurship.
Awesome, awesome. And I love that because it's like we sometimes it's one or the other. We either are so much into the trenches and that we
Mhm.
forget to celebrate, or we celebrate and we forget how we got there.
Yes.
So it's like I love that you've embraced both parts of that, and that's really beautiful. So, Laura, your journey from corporate leadership to entrepreneurship and founding Inspire Her Foundation that's amazing to me. So, can you share a little bit more about the pivotal moment when you decided to transform or transition from, like corporate America to pursue, a more autonomous and family-centered path? And then with that, can you also answer like how did this shift in focus impact your approach to leadership and empowerment, both in your business ventures and through the Inspire Her Foundation?
Yeah, so it really wasn't necessarily a sudden decision. So our real estate adventures and our real estate business began back, or that journey began back in 2015. And so nearly 10 years, it'll be 10 years next year, that we were on that journey. It was something that we were doing on the side and eventually thought or had the idea that we'd go into it full time, but it was just kind of always one day, feeling comfortable in our corporate roles and in having the success of moving up in title and successes there. So I was fulfilled. I felt fulfilled and was content there. In 2020, we founded Inspire Her Foundation, and that had again been an idea since 2012. And that all kind of sparked from my initial introduction into the corporate world going back to 2009, 2010, when I got earned one of my first larger titles, feeling achieved, but it was a male dominated industry. So with Inspire Her Foundation and many hurdles that I had overcome in the beginning of my career, or earlier on in my career, I really wanted to have an impact on youth, especially young women, to encourage them to go after their dreams, no matter whether they are, feel that something is impossible or that goal is too far away, and giving them the opportunity to develop skill set training, such as speaking, negotiating, sales training, so many other trainings that we do in our skill set workshop. So that was an idea, again, that I mentioned started in 2012. And then we finally jumped onto it, with my husband. He kind of urged me, just go for it, just go for it. So filed for that in 2020 and originally launched that in 2021 when we started getting going with that. And again, it was part-time, something I was doing on the side, was starting to slowly grow my team to expand on that in New York City. Nonetheless, fast forward to 2022, I was expecting our second child, and that's really where the pivotal moment came in my career in the corporate world. So I felt that I had worked my behind off through all these years, proving myself in sales and leading a sales team to success and exceeding annual quotas and goals, when I learned that I wasn't necessarily going to get maternity time leave away from work. And that was a few months of negotiating, just trying to get a month of unpaid time away. And that was a whole other conversation that really made me sit and think about my priorities. Do I want to continue growing somebody else's company and their success? And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it was for myself, being at a relative startup at that time that I had moved over to, whether I wanted to continue doing that, the long hours away, time away from my family, missing jujitsu practices from my son, and then being soon that we were going to welcome our daughter. So I had my daughter, continued working for the next few months, and eventually just got to that moment where I was working to grow our businesses with the idea that I can leave corporate America and dive full on into our goals, our personal goals. When eventually just one day came and my husband encouraged me to just go for it. There really is no perfect timing. I don't necessarily know or think there'll ever be a time when all the ducks are lined up correctly, and the stars are aligned to jump in. We really just need to jump in and have that decision in the back of our mind that it's going to work. We're going to make it work, and moving forward there. And that's exactly what I did. I just made that decision, jumped in, moved forward. And now it's been nearly a year. It'll be a year in May that I've been full time in our.
Congratulations and happy anniversary.
Yes.
With another little munchkin on the way on top of it.
Exactly.
That is so awesome. And I love that because, they say one day and someday is not a day of the week.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you just said, okay, we're going to pick a day and we're just going to make it happen. And
Exactly.
that's the thing is it's like, yeah, it's vision is that is part of the decision, right? It's like you just have to decide. It's just
Yes.
that simple. And I know that it sounds simple and it's hard at the same time. So it's kind of like an what is it, an oxymoron, where it's like
Yes.
it is, but it isn't. But it is just that simple. You just have to decide to, believe.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that shift truly happens up here, Jesus, take the wheel, because that's when you see magic happen. And that's the beauty of it. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. And that's normally how everyone gets, the opportunity to see that. And it's, I love the quote, and I always say it. It's like tomorrow's opportunity hinges on today's obedience. It's like you just have to
Mm-hmm.
be obedient to make the decision.
Yes.
So, yeah, so I love that. So, my next question for you is Her Story Unveiled aims to highlight the achievements of women entrepreneurs. Like, what aspect of your story do you hope resonates most with our listeners and with women as a whole?
So, really, I would say two things for my own story is that one, anything is possible with the will. So, you have to have the will, that little burning desire to show up. And then the second part of that is consistency. I feel that far too often people undermine the importance of consistency, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really not one day that we show up and we have success. It's really showing up every single day or on a regular basis, depending what our goal is, making small strides forward in the right direction. And, when we make a mistake or something doesn't
Yeah,
work out right, figuring out how we correct that, learning from that lesson and
right,
continue moving forward. And that consistency of, a number of small steps really leads to the larger successes. And that's, ultimately where I was sharing earlier when I look back 7 months and feeling like I was making small strides and I did have some wins, but really looking back and seeing and admiring all that myself and my team had achieved over the past 7 months alone, and really gave me that fuel to continue burning and thinking, really believing with what we had achieved in the past 7 months, what can we achieve moving forward, continuing to work together and just showing up and
right,
really just being consistent ultimately.
right.
So
And
have that will and be consistent.
yes, yes, I love that, because when, I mean, what's the analogy? It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yes.
It's just that, again, very simple principles, but it's something that
Mhm.
we take for granted. And I think that's the piece of where people get lost in an entrepreneurship, where it's like, oh my God, it's not working. And I
Mhm.
have this cute little meme where it's like it's two ladders, right? But one ladder has the steps are like this close together. And the guy is
Mhm.
literally, getting ready to climb the ladder, where the other ladder, they're like this far apart. Each step is
Mhm.
this far apart. And it just speaks to, the testament of what you're saying, with you have to take those small steps, climb the ladder, one step at a time, or one, I guess they are ladder steps. So it's like, just climb just a little bit at a time. It's
Mhm.
like if there's a book that you want to write, just write a page today, write a page tomorrow, invest 20 minutes on, a paragraph or whatever. But by the time you're done in a year, you can have your book done if that's what it takes.
Yes.
But if you don't take any steps, or if you think that because it's so big that
Mhm.
you can't accomplish it, next year you're going to be in the same spot you're in today. So
Exactly.
it's like that, the little steps, it's the minutia. When you're in that, that's where, again, magic happens. That's where the awesomeness happens. That's where greatness happens, because those are learning. I mean, think of a baby.
Mhm.
I mean, how small their little steps are. But once they get up and they take the step, they fall down. They
Mhm.
get right back up and they step and they fall down again. And they don't
Exactly.
stop until they get those steps down. And then it's like, God help you, it's the Michelin baby and the tire, where it's just like they're gone. So, but it's like
Exactly.
we have to realize that, we can use the analogy of a baby to
Mhm.
our business,
Mhm.
when you really think about it. And it's how the progression of the baby grows. That's how our business grows. And it's one day at
Mhm.
a time, it's one step at a time. I love that.
Exactly.
I get excited with that kind of information. I'm just saying, it's like that just totally excites me.
Yeah.
So the next question I have for you is, in what ways do you think the initiatives of Her Story Unveiled contribute to empowering women in business?
Yeah, so overall, I mean, there's so many great women that Her Story Unveils highlights and shares stories of, but really going through and meeting some of these women and reading their stories as well, I really think it's that Her Story Unveiled shares the insights and guidances or guidance of real women in the industry, so experts and leaders, and getting to know them, even if we don't meet them in person, but getting to know them through their stories, and realizing that they are just like us. So
Right.
we're just like us. We can all achieve things. It's just going out, listening to their stories, learning from their lessons. We all have setbacks. We all have successes, and everything is really possible. And I think that Her Story Unveiled really highlights that as well. That's, we all have the opportunity to succeed, and nothing's really holding us back. So just go out there and take a step forward, jump in for whatever that dream is.
Right, right, exactly. So, I my whole premise and everything that I love doing is about celebrating leading women. And
Mhm.
that's what, Her Story Unveiled was all about, was starting to celebrate women that are trailblazing in the industry. So
Mhm.
can you share, do you have another woman entrepreneur that has inspired you or influenced you personally, professionally? Is there anyone that you can tell us about?
Yeah, so, I was thinking about this, and I feel it's a really difficult question to answer, there being one woman or female
Mhm.
entrepreneur who has inspired me or influenced me along my journey, because it's really a collection of so many great women that I have met along the way and have encouraged me in different ways, by sharing their stories, and Maggie McCarthy is a provider that I had met before, who went out and started her own private practice, due to, her inspirations on, natural medicine. And she really inspired me. And Christina Caruso, one of my friends from New York City, who went out and started her personal jewelry line, and her story behind that as well. So it's really hard to name one woman. I can go on and list so many incredible women that I've met along the journey, and how they all inspire me and impact me in different ways, and how we can all connect and learn from one another's stories, because all of our journeys are so different. So many great women. So it's really challenging to list just one who has made the most impact on my journey or my life as
Oh,
well.
believe you me, I understand. It's funny when I get that question on different interviews. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's trying to remember, and I guess it just depends on the context of it, kind of like you were saying, where their
Mhm.
stories impacted you for this. So, but
Yes,
that's
exactly.
awesome. That's awesome. So, as a participant of, Her Story Unveiled, how do you hope to inspire other aspiring female entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so I think, two things. One, if you haven't started yet on your entrepreneurial journey and it's just an idea or something you've been thinking about for some time, I really do encourage you again to just jump in, because there is no perfect timing. You don't have to have all the answers or everything figured out. So of course, you have enough knowledge behind what it is you're doing, you have the inspiration behind what you're doing. But really just making that decision to jump in, not giving yourself plan B and plan C. And of course, there are other plans along the way and how you can
Right.
adapt, because things arise and come up, but it's not giving yourself that ultimatum for failure of, as far as what is plan B if this doesn't work out. So just jumping in. And if you're already an entrepreneur, continue making those small steps forward. Again, I cannot express how frequent I have a conversation with other individuals, and it comes back to consistency, as far as, it just wasn't working out for me, or whatever it may be. And it's you just have to, we're all going to have bad days along the way, and we need to just move past those, continue making those small steps forward, jump in. We'll figure out the answers along the way. It's impossible to know everything and have all the answers. Many of the lessons that I've learned in my corporate career, and as well as being an entrepreneur, have come from, something not going right, or just having to figure it out. And those are the lessons that never leave you as well,
Right,
because they
right.
were ingrained in your mind. So really
Absolutely.
encourage, anyone considering, or even in the early steps of entrepreneurship, to just jump in, go all in, and continuously making those small strides forward. You will get there.
Awesome. So lastly, when I started this, I thought was going to be like, it was going to be one time. But
Mhm.
I want this to be like a legacy. So what do you hope the legacy of Her Story Unveiled will be for women in business?
Yeah, so I think again, going back to the legacy, it continues to, boost confidence of women, overcoming self-doubts, having that growth mindset, and all the things that Her Story Unveiled offers and highlights in other entrepreneurs and women in business. That's the same message I've been mentioning along the entire way. It's just like we have to be open to growth. We think we have to be open to not just growth, but to be able to adapt. Things change as the years
Yeah.
pass by. So having that mindset to grow, to adapt, and overcoming self-doubts, because no matter how knowledgeable we are on a certain subject matter, there's still always those moments of self-doubt and imposter syndrome that sneak in that we need to overcome
Yeah.
and just continue moving forward.
Facts right there. And that's the part where even for myself, I found that it's like, on the surface everyone's like, oh my god, you're doing this and you're doing that, and it's like deep down inside it's like, yeah, but if you really knew what was under, you peel back that onion,
Yes.
and the trenches, it's like that's a real thing for entrepreneurship. And I think that's even why I got started, was because I saw that I was on my hustle, I was doing my thing, and all of a sudden it was like I'm in the hospital again because I wasn't addressing all the deep seated things that were going on that was
Mhm.
impacting my health. So it's like
Mhm.
we have to be open to understand that, what, there, yes, that adaptability and that all of those things are great, but like you said, we got to know what's going on the inside
Mhm.
too. So I really love that. So, Laura, this has been so amazing. I loved meeting you when I first met you. I adore you even more now. Can't wait to see the new baby. I'm really excited about that, and you guys will have to be following her because she did a jump shot kind of thing in New York Times Square, pregnant. And that just, I literally was in the middle of my photo shoot myself, and when I saw her do that, I totally just, I'm like, oh Jesus, I don't know how to deliver babies right now. So that's not one of my superpowers. Please don't do that again. And it was so funny, but it was like, she is just such a dynamic young lady. And I'm so humbled and blessed to have met her and have her on this journey with me and me be on her journey. So thank you so much for being here. How can, and I mean, it'll be in the show notes as well, but how can, if someone wanted to connect with you, especially learn about your foundation or hear about, your speak, where you speak, all of the fun things about you, where can people find you?
Yeah, great. So I would say on her websites, our foundation, Inspire Her Foundation, you can find us on toinspire.org, which is toinspire.org, or my website, which is my name, lauranavaquin.com, and then follow us on social media. So on social media, it's Laura Navaquin at Laura Navaquin or Inspire Her. And
Awesome.
thank you again so much for having me. This has definitely been such an honor. I still can't believe it. You're so amazing yourself. And anyone who doesn't know
Oh, thank
Sharon
you.
themselves, definitely reach out, follow her, and connect. She's an incredible woman. And I am so thankful. Thank you, Sharon.
I'm grateful for you too, sweetheart. Thank you. So we look forward to seeing you the next time. Definitely stay with us because we have more amazing women coming. And till next time, have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.